Not tonight, anyway. So we got 60,000 profit from a property that I couldn't sell. I had no chance in hell of selling. And there are thousands of investors around the country today that own these properties. There are people in the room tonight that own these properties. And there are people in the room tonight that own properties that are very close to this. And as soon as we get an increase in interest rates, or you have a void, you're in negative equity or negative cash flow. So let's have a look at the lemon number 2.
That's a proper lemon. That's
65,000 in negative equity. The lady that this property belongs to, going to 2-bed, 2-bath in E16, which is
right behind City Airport in London.
City Airport, London. Quite a nice location. She was just about to be repossessed, and we stopped the repossession by just offering the judge £100 a month on top of the normal mortgage payments. She was very, very pleased that she didn't have a repossession around her neck, and the problems that go with that. So we are just babysitting the property. It's a lemon because it's 65,000 in negative equity. But we're looking after the property and we're looking after the mortgage payments. So we've not paid anything for it. We asked her to pay us some money to take the problem away from her, but of course she couldn't even pay her mortgage payment, so there was no chance of that. So what are we going to do with a property with £65,000 worth of negative equity? The bonus was that the cash flow was positive. In fact, the interest rate on this was a Mortgage Express, 1.75% above base, 2.25% per month. Very cheap, lifetime tracker.
That's where we saw the opportunity. We said, okay, London market was down at the time, that was 2009, but we knew that it's going to come back, and it certainly has come back. It was £65,000 in negative equity back then, probably has improved since then, I suppose. But we don't care. This property had a mortgage of about 230,000 mortgage on it. 2-bedroom flat in the same area. When I checked at the time, 165, 170 max value. Massively negative equity. But we said, okay, let's ignore the price for a moment. Let's market a property with £7,000 deposit, no mortgage required. Someone will buy this place. Someone would like to own a 2-bedroom flat close to central London just with £7,000 deposit. So a lady called Barbara moved in. She came all the way from Leeds. She had a new job in central London, and she loved the fact that this property was very close to the train station and she could be at work within 15 minutes. She said, I've got £7,000 deposit and I'm ready to buy. I think it's a brilliant opportunity, and when can I move in? I showed her the flat. I even haven't seen the lady. Okay, the tenant that was at the time opened the door. She viewed the house, and she just bought immediately. So she moved in with £7,000 deposit. Her monthly payments are £1,113. So that gives us a massive cash flow of £551 every single month. Over a 5-year period, that is giving us £33,000 total cash flow. Massive, massive cash flow here. So, Doug, how much money we made from this?
40,000?
£40,000 from a property that we paid nothing for it. Absolutely nothing. We
No
just
tenants?
helped us with the repossession.
No repairs?
No repairs. I haven't even seen the buyer.
In fact, we only went to the property once.
How many of you would like to help your fellow investors and make £40,000?
Yeah.
So let's look at a scenario for purchase. That's a couple of lemons that we showed you there. There are, I would say, in every city centre in the UK, virtually every city centre, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of lemons. Where city centres have been overdeveloped by these greedy developers back in the mid-2000s, sold off plan to greedy investors that were buying them for no money down or being offered all sorts of incentives to move in there, are finding that it's difficult to get the tenants now. It's difficult to get the tenants to pay the agreed rent. I have properties in Birmingham city centre, in the Jewellery Quarter, some of you may know of, 795 for a 2-bed, 2-bath. I'm struggling to get 700 for it because there are other landlords in the same block that are offering those properties at 650, 675. The tenants know that. The tenants are just, being a bit cheeky, and they're saying, I know you want 795, we'll give you 650, take it or leave it, because we'll have the one next door otherwise. So there are lots and lots of these properties around. It's a good opportunity for us as investors to go out and find other investors, other homeowners that have these properties. Massive opportunities. Now, we wanted to talk to you tonight about purchasing a property, because we've shown you so far how we control property using a single document. We also use that single document to purchase property as well, in order to use a process that enables us to move into the property without investing money. So this was a purchase of Jellicoe Avenue from a lady called Jane, and the value of the property is £160,000, and Jane had a mortgage outstanding of £24,000, and we asked her what she needed. She told us what she wanted. She wanted £160,000 to walk away and buy herself a caravan. She was a gypsy lady. She wanted to move back to the land with her horses and enjoy her time with her grandchildren. What she needed was £78,000 to buy the caravan, £24,000 to pay off the mortgage, and she needed some money to put on some electrics. So we gave her what she needed, which was, we agreed to pay her some now. We agreed to pay her £110,000 now, and that gave her the £78,000 to buy the caravan, £24,000 to pay off the mortgage, plus another, I think that was £8,000 in the bank to pay for the electrics. So she got what she needed. We also agreed that we'd pay her a further £35,000 some way down the line.
Well, I offered her two options. Option one, if you agree to wait 5 years, we're going to pay you 25. If you agree to wait 10 years, we're going to pay you 35. So she said, well, 10 years is a little too long. I'm not sure if I'm going to live that long. But I'm certainly very interested in the 5-year option. So I may not be alive in 5 years. So could we put a document in place that will pay my grandchildren, because I want to give that money away to my grandchildren anyway. So Jane, consider it done.
So I think there's an accountant among us this evening. You see 110 and 125 actually equals 135, although the value is 160. So of course we purchased the property below market value using a strategy called some now, some later. And the reason why we paid 135, Mesud?
Well, next door, we'll show you a picture in a moment. Next door was for sale for 135. It was probate property and it was in terrible state. So the whole garden was like a jungle, and the property you couldn't get in. It was so badly smelling. So we thought, okay, Jane, we know yours is much better looking than the one next door, but it can't be massively more than the one next door. So if the one next door is for sale for 135 and it still hasn't sold, I'm afraid I don't think yours is much more worth than 135, and obviously we need a little bit of discount just to make profit from this property. We are in the business of making money from property, we're not a charity. And she said, okay, that's fine, no problem, I agree.
So based on the value of 160,000, mortgage brokers amongst us will confirm this, that on £160,000 from the mortgage works, you can borrow £120,000 based on 75% loan to value. So that's exactly what we did. Based on a value of 160, we borrowed 120. How much have I got to pay Jane? I've got to pay her 110,000. So if I paid 110, I've got £10,000 left. So I put the £10,000 in the bank, and that looked exactly like that. So I borrowed some money from the bank, gave most of it to Jane and kept a little bit back for myself, and then I agreed to pay her some later on, which was the 35,000. And in fact, 25, thank you. And in fact we used a nibbling technique, which I can't go into now because it would take too long, but time equals money. So we nibbled back some of that money that we was going to pay her later, because in fact she came to us earlier than what we'd agreed. It was 5 years, she came to us a lot earlier, so we agreed on an early settlement, which wasn't 25. So that's the house. It's just an ordinary 3-bedroomed ex-council house. The thing is that there were 7 internal doors in this house, and each door cost Jane £1,000. She'd imported the tiles herself from Italy. It was a very, very nice house inside. There's Jane and Mesud and their love child. No, actually that's Jane. It's Jane's grandchild. And she was so pleased. And this is after she'd come to the office to collect her some later part. So she asked us to pay her the later bit earlier. So Mesud went down the bank, collected the money. She came to the office to collect the money, and she wrote a testimonial for us while she was there. And if you notice, it says at the top, Doug and Mesud, and she spelt Mesud with a love heart, and she loved him so much.
That child wasn't planned, by the way.
So let's have a look. We've purchased this property now using a traditional mortgage, using a creative financing strategy, and then we've sold it on an instalment contract.
Okay, I thought about this.
Quickly.
Yeah, because I had massive confidence from selling these negatively equity properties massively above the market value. I said, why we can't sell this property above the market value? Why we can't sell it actually massively above the market value? Well, I don't know, I'm just going to do a trial here, and I'm going to stick it on Rightmove. £5,000 deposit moves you in, £1,100 monthly payment, total purchase price 189,995. The buyer came in next day. I couldn't believe it. It was such a nice property, people wouldn't mind paying above the market value. I mean, when you move in, it was ready to live in. The carpets were that thick. It was such a lovely place. So a couple of doctors, we moved them all the way from Luton, Bedfordshire, and they love the fact that they can have a 3-bedroom house. They've been just 2 years in the country, and they were renting, and they were earning nice income, but couldn't buy a house. So they love the fact that they can move with £5,000 deposit, £1,100 a month. Well, our mortgage cost was only £550, I think. So that gave us a massive cash flow of £600. Over a 60-month period, we made just £36,000 from the monthly cash flow. And £57,000 back end. That is the difference between how much our buyer will owe in year 5 and how much we owe to our lender. Remember, we bought 120. So in 5 years' time, our buyer would have just paid it off quite a little bit. And that's why we were going to have £57,000 back end profit. Also, we had a little bit of cash back as well when we purchased the property. So we moved in our buyers in. Again, no voids, no maintenance, no repairs, no fees. If they're late with their mortgage payment, we have late payment fees. We don't have any managing at all. All we have to do is check the bank. So,
How much did we make?
£100,000 for one deal. How many of you would like that?
So the power of instalment contracts basically is, as we've said, is the most profitable strategy available today. Even more profitable than HMOs and multi-lets. And of course a lot less work. So let's look at the JV contract, which we've been talking about this evening. That's the instalment contract. Hold on to the instalment contract.
Oh, that's my precious.
This is a joint venture agreement, quite thin. It's about 11 pages. This piece of paper, it's a legal document. It enables us to take complete control over the property. It's each particular contract is different to the circumstances behind what we're buying, but we use it on every occasion, whether we're controlling a property or whether we're buying a property. Those people amongst you who understand a little bit about lease options and purchase options, that go through the process of doing a heads of terms, sending it to the solicitor, hoping that the solicitor sends back the heads of terms with a contract in good time so that you don't lose the deal, this alleviates the problem of heads of terms. We no longer use heads of terms. We rip them up, throw them away, because they're just worth about as much as the paper that they're written on, 0. This enables us to take immediate control over the property. As soon as this has been signed by the seller and witnessed, they can hand the keys to us and walk away from their problem. And many people do, because it's so easy. So it contains a power of attorney. The power of attorney enables us to do whatever we wish with the property. And if the seller disappears, it enables us to sell the property on their behalf without them being present. It also enables us to live in the property, sell the property, etc. A lot of people use these documents to buy a property to live in. It's not necessary for something to use as an investment.
I bought my first house just on a joint venture agreement. It's that powerful.
So it determines the terms and conditions of the contract, the length of the contract. It contains a lock-in agreement and a third-party authority. Third-party authority enables us to speak directly to the lender if we're babysitting or looking after somebody's mortgage for them. It gives us the authority to speak directly to the lender and set up payment for them. There isn't a lender in this land that will not accept third-party payments, apart from HSBC and JP Morgan. And we have a way we get around that by opening up a joint bank account for the seller. So that's the joint venture agreement, and then of course we sell them on the instalment contract. So Mesud, give us 5 simple steps process.
Find a motivated seller, control and buy with a 12-page document our wonderful joint venture agreement. You will never get gazumped if you use a joint venture agreement. Find a buyer, use an installment contract, sell on installment contract, and make shed loads of money.
So let's just recap what we've spoken about this evening before we leave you. We've shown you what is an instalment contract. We've shown you how we're making massive profits from every deal. We've showed you some real life examples. We showed you 3 babysits and a couple of lemons, how we're turning lemons into gold mines. We showed you how we're buying and controlling property using a single document. And after this evening's presentation, at the end of the evening, if you want to do a live deal structuring session with us, Mesud has his laptop with him. If there are any lemons in the room, or you know of any properties that are likely to be lemons, we can put them in our deal structuring analyzer, and we can show you what the profits will look like after years 1, 3 and 5. So please see us at the back of the room after the evening's over. So quickly before we leave the stage, if you don't mind, we're going to show you some details of our offer. We're running a 2-day masterclass in November. It's quite a way off, so plenty of time to think about it. On the 9th and 10th of November will be a 2-day masterclass which will be teaching you all of the strategies that we've spoken about this evening, but going far, far greater into depth. Mesud has a workbook there, which is the 2-day workbook. So day 1 is Mesud. It's the mindset of an investor. My favourite subject. 40 years I've been around personal development. So we do a little bit of reprogramming, turn you into money making machines, and then we show you how to buy and control property using little or no money. Learn the entire buying and selling process step by step, how to sniff the profits in any and every deal, including the lemons, 101 ways to market for sellers, and then we do live deal structuring. And then on day 2, Mesud,
step-by-step structure of an installment contract. So we show you how do we structure the installment contracts, what conditions we put in place, so you make lots of profits. Also, we show you how to do your research and marketing for buyers. So when you find the right buyer, they'll make you rich. Also, mastering marketing, sales and communication skills. Obviously, we are not selling houses, ladies and gentlemen. We are selling an opportunity to get on the property ladder. If you understand that, you'll make a fortune. Also, marketing for sellers. Many people struggle with getting sellers. Well, I've got about 17 of them, and I'll probably meet a few more tonight. So we'll show you how to do that. Also, we'll teach you how to find and convert buyers into satisfied homeowners. We make a lot of people happy. So we show you how to do this ethically as a win-win.
Come on.
Also, we show you how to build your professional team around yourself, and also we are going to show you our no money down strategy as a giveaway bonus. So
that's 697 plus VAT. There's some early bird discounts available if you want to see us at the back of the room. We talk about those. Those of you that want some more information but can't wait until November, luckily we filmed our last 2-day workshop. It's a full 2 days, 8 discs, just taking out the breaks basically. 8 sets, 497. If you use Cheltenham 100 code, and I'll give you the website in a moment, you can get £100 off of that. So 397 for that disc, 8 set disc tonight, and the site to go onto is londonpropertyuniversity.co.uk /products. See,
Ladies
it's in
and
the back of the
gentlemen,
room.
this little box has changed the lives of people. It has changed the life of Brett, the guy from Birmingham. After he just bought this, he did